UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. I am your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. Today is December 14th, my birthday, and we'll be getting into something from the film, The Coming UFO Invasion, Exposing the Dragon's Dark Secrets, which is what we do in this film. But first, a word from our very trusted sponsor, Noble Gold. Hey, folks, you know, it's almost 2023, and nothing has really changed, has it? The year's about to end, and things are even more expensive than they were at the start of 2022. But what if I told you there is a way to protect your wealth next year? I'm talking about Bank of America's recent outlook for 2023 of gold to tip up maybe around $2,000 an ounce, and silver to 25 buckaroos an ounce in the second half of the year. And that's just the beginning. Looking at 2024, B of A sees gold prices remaining elevated with an average price of $2,086 an ounce. So what are you waiting for? It's not too late to add precious metals to your IRA. Thousands of people have retired comfortably with the help of Noble Gold Investments and their gold and silver IRAs. If you've been a hesitant investor, but one of the handful of Americans who can go for gold and silver in your IRA, now's the time to act. If you get in before the end of the month, you'll bag an incredibly free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin with every qualified IRA of 20 grand or more. Call 877-646-5347, 877-646-5347 to find out more. Or please check it out online at noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. This is a small clip from the film, which has received its... Again, I think it's the most important film I've ever done because it exposes what the dragon is doing, hence the subtitle, Exposing the Dragon's Dark Secrets. And that's what we do in the film. So let's get into that. Here's the clip, and before I roll it, that's Angela. There are 4 people that come on the record in this film. Emil, who also we took an implant out about 8-9 years ago. All that's in Watchers 7 and Watchers 8. Emil comes on the record. Also Al Matthews, who's in the very first UFO film. And then, of course, Angela. And last but not least, Karen, who really is the tentpole, if I can use that. She's the centerpiece of the entire film. Her testimony is visceral, and I showed a clip of that last week, and I'll probably circle back to that next week. But this is Angela's testimony. Let's watch it.
I found out I was 3 months pregnant, and I went home, and a couple of weeks later, I started spotting, and you're not supposed to bleed when you're pregnant, so I knew something was wrong. And I was really upset because I had lost a child before. Mm-hmm. I was pregnant when my first son carried him full term, and he had a heart defect and he passed away. So this was a year later, and it was really sad. So I was trying to keep it. I was trying to keep my body right and hang on. And the doctor said, you probably passed this child over the weekend, and then you'll have to come back in and see us. It was so strange though, Yvonne, because they did an ultrasound, and I saw the womb, and I saw where the baby was supposed to be. And at first there was a heartbeat. The first time there was a heartbeat, right? And you can see a baby when they're in there. You can see the dot inside your womb. But when I went and saw, when she did an ultrasound, the next time I went, there was nothing there. There was nothing.
What did they say? What did the doctor say?
They just said, this is the womb, but there's nothing there.
Some of you are looking at this and scratching your heads and going, LA, you know, this is really out there. So let me circle back to what Bret Baier said. This is the Fox News Network. It's not George Noory, Coast to Coast, which I was more than proud to be on last week. We had a great romp. It was a 2-hour discussion. And it's always great to see George and Tom Danheiser and talk shop, as it were. But this isn't Coast to Coast. This is Fox News. This is national. Coast to Coast is national. But this is mainstream media. This is Fox News. Look what Bret Baier says. Bret Baier runs bizarre reports suggesting link between UFOs and unexplained pregnancies. And then look at the bottom. Close encounters, UFO report indicates unexplained phenomena. Look, folks, it's real. You can, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, when I was getting into all this and writing books and doing research and everything, and I would go to conferences and I would talk about the coming Great Deception, I was basically laughed at and scoffed at. That's okay. Every so-called prophet in the Bible is laughed at and scoffed at. I do not consider myself a prophet. I don't believe in titles. I'm just a servant of the Most High God. That's all I am, okay? So let's dispense with the titles. But I've been saying this for decades. Warning of the coming Great Deception, my phrase. Warning of it. Flapping my arms wildly. Talking about the breeding program. Talking about the implants. It's all so real. Every bit of it. And now it's on Fox News. So what do you do with that information? You just, go to another channel because it's a little too woo-woo for you? It's not woo-woo, folks. If we believe in the guidebook of the supernatural, i.e. our Bibles, it's all there. It's all there. It all goes back to the seed war. Genesis 3:15. Thank you, Gary Stearman. The seed of the woman will be at enmity. The seed of the dragon will be at enmity with the seed of the woman. The one coming from the seed of the woman, the proto-evangelium, the Messiah, will crush the dragon's head. That sets up the rest of the biblical prophetic narrative. Everything hinges on that one phrase. Genesis 6, it erupts. The seed war erupts. Sodom and Gomorrah, ever wondered why the destruction? Seed war. It's all happening. Tower of Babel, seed war. Nimrod becomes Geborim. I'm not making this stuff up. Finally, we go to Luke, and what do we read in Luke? Jesus is saying it'll be like the days of Noah at the coming of the Son of Man. What differentiates the days of Noah from any other time? And we can tap dance around that all we want. The bottom line is the presence of the Nephilim. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterwards, when the sons of God saw the daughters of men, took wives, plural. All that's in my book, Countermove, shameless plug. So here's the deal. Brett Baer runs this report talking about UFOs and unexplained pregnancies. And then we go back to Angela. What do we have? What do we have? She finds herself pregnant. Then in weeks afterwards, they retake her and they take the child. Now, before you start scoffing at that, over the weekend there was a report which is absolutely mind-boggling, talking about the creation of artificial wombs. The creation of artificial wombs. Don't you think they have them? Of course they have them on board those ships. And those hybrid entities, which is what they are, part fallen angel DNA, part human DNA, creating a hybrid. We've talked about hybrids on the show before. By the way, if you've been taken, if you have a story about this where you've been pregnant and you lost the child and they couldn't find anything, shoot me an email, please. Shoot me an email. Supernatural@lamarzulli.net. Supernatural@lamarzulli.net. If you want to come on the record and talk about it, our producer, John Adam Hicks, will get to you. We only need one email, and we'll go from there, folks. By the way, the special has been taken down. It is no longer active. And we've got a ton of back orders. We are absolutely in overdrive, working 12 hours a day, literally, to try to get these orders out before Christmas. Please be patient. We're close, and hopefully we'll get there. You can still go to our website, lamarzulli.net, lamarzulli.net, and order. We can't, at this point, it's the 14th. Can't really guarantee it'll get there before Christmas, but we will do our darndest to get that. Anyway, folks, it is the end of the year. We are going to move our studio, our shipping department from Oklahoma back to California for a whole bunch of reasons. And we might need some help with that financially. If you feel it in your heart to donate, that would really be great. You can go to our website, lamarzulli.net. You'll see the links to donate to us, and we appreciate that. We're not begging for money here. We're okay. But if you want to be part of the ministry, if you want to help us, we've got some big expenses coming up because we'll be renting a facility. It's about $1,000 a month plus utilities. Not so bad. We'll be able to put all the books and DVDs in there as an office. We'll be able to ship right from that facility, which is fantastic. It's in Camarillo, which is kind of close to where we are. So all that is good. And so go to lamarzulli.net and you can check that out. And once again, Abby Hornacek talking about alien abductions on the Fox News Network. I'm not making this stuff up. We are on the cutting edge. We have a biblical perspective of what is going on. Wake up, folks. Wake up. It is happening. Absolutely happening all day long. Thanks so much for watching UFO Update. Today is December 14th. I'll be back next week with another UFO update. Please keep us in prayer. The cost of this film has been over the top, emotionally and also within our family. And I'll just leave it at that. So we covered your prayers. We covered your prayers, and we are proclaiming Jeremiah 8:22. Jeremiah 8:22. You can pray that with us. And again, once again, if you feel like contributing to us, that would really be great. We've got some major expenses. We are renting a big, huge U-Haul truck, hiring 2 drivers. They're driving out. Obviously, they can't do it in one day, so it's like a 2 or 3 day trip. Then unloading and setting up the facility out in California. So this makes it much better for us, much easier for Peggy. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow with questions for LA, and that's one of my favorite shows. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away.
Something very dark and disturbing is happening. It is a global phenomenon that knows no boundaries. It adheres to no cultural mores. And the ones who are engaged in this nefarious activity do so with impunity. People are being taken against their will. In the cover of darkness, in the dead of night, they are subjected to bizarre examinations that are often sexual in nature. These people are terrified, violated, confused, and with no place to turn to, as who would believe them? This is their story.